The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence.
By His grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from His lotus mouth. Attachment to His lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From Him ecstatic prema emanates. By Him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of His character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful to us. Give us the shade of the lotus feet. May your fame be spread of all that we will. We take shelter at the lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Прям что-то честно, не сильно. У вас в субботу надо же Ириночка произвести.
Ничего, мы вот здесь сядем в конце.
Конечно.
Сейчас сядем и тихонечко выберем. Я тогда побежала. Если подальше сядем, то не ближе.
Can somebody translate?
We don't know as words this machine for translating.
It's okay. We will sit
That's right.
away from you.
That's
And
very
I
nice.
won't speak loudly.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes,
The translation is very
I will
nice.
translate her.
Yes, very nice. Thank you.
Oh. Shram Prabhu ki jai, sadhu.
Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
I must be onto something. Yashodanam Nana Vraja Janaram Janna Yamuratira Vamachari Yamuratira Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki all glories to the Assembly Glories, all glories to the Assembly Glories, all glories to the Assembly Glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, it is our means of conquest. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Narayanam Narasritya Naram Chara Narottamam Devim Sarasvim Svayam Tato Jayam Mudire By regular Nastha Presa Deshura Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shakhe Bhakti Bhakti. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irreversible fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we're reading from the 5th canto and the 8th chapter and text number 26. And it is very complicated text to read. That is why I suggest that we just read the word by word translation and then the direct English translation. Evam, in that way. Agatamana, impossible to be achieved. Manaharata, by desires which are like mental chariots. Akula, aggrieved. Hridaya, whose heart. Mrgadaraka abhasena, resembling the son of a deer. Svaarabha karmana, by the bad results of his unseen fruitive activities, actions. Yoga arambanata, from the activities of yoga performances. Vibramshita, fallen down. Shaha, he. Maharaj. Yoga tapasha, executing the activities of mystic yoga and austerities. Bhagavat aradhana lakshanat, from the activities of devotional service rendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Cha, and katam, how. Itarata, else. Chati antare, belonging to a different species of life. Enakunake, to the body of a deer calf. Asangaha, so much affectionate attachment. Sakshat, directly. Nishreyasa, to achieve the ultimate goal of life. Pratikashyataya, with the quality of being an obstacle. Prak, who previously. Parityakta, given up. Tustaya, although very difficult to give up. Hridaya apiyatasya, his sons born of his own heart. Tasya, of him. Evam, thus. Antaraya, by the obstacle. Vihata, obstructed. Yoga arambanasya, whose path of executing this mystic yoga practices. Raja Reshe, of the great saintly king. Bharatasya, of Maharaja Bharata. Tavat, in that way. Mirga Arbaka, the son of a deer. Oshana, in maintaining. Palana, in protecting. Prinana, in making happy.
In making happy.
Lalana,
La.
in fondling,
In fondling.
Anushangina,
Anushangana.
by constant absorption,
By constant absorption.
Aviganayata,
Aviganayana.
neglecting,
Neglecting.
Atmanam,
Atman.
his own soul,
His own soul.
Ahiva,
Ahiva.
like a serpent,
Like a serpent.
Akubilam,
Akubilam.
the whole of a mouse,
The whole of love.
Duratikramaha,
Duratikramah.
unsurpassable,
Unsurpassable.
Kalaha,
Kalaha.
ultimate death,
Ultimate death.
Karala,
Karala.
terrible,
Terrible.
Rabhasha,
Rabhasha.
having speed,
Having speed.
Apadyata,
Abhadyata.
arrived.
Alright.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Shukadev Goswami continued, my dear king, in this way Bharata Maharaj was overwhelmed by an uncontrollable desire, which was manifest in the form of the deer. Due to the fruitive results of his past deeds, he fell down from mystic yoga, austerity, and worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If it were not due to his past fruitive activity, how could he have been attracted to the deer after giving up the association of his own son and family, considering them stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual life? How could he show such uncontrollable affection for a deer? This was definitively due to his past karma. The king was so engrossed in petting and maintaining the deer that he fell down from his spiritual activities. In due course of time, insurmountable death, which is compared to a venomous snake that enters the hole created by a mouse, situated itself before him. Purport by His Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
As will be seen in later verses, Bharata Maharaja, at the time of death, would be forced to accept the body of a deer due to his attraction for the deer. In this regard, a question may be raised. How can a devotee be affected by his past misconduct and vicious activities? How is it possible? In Brahma Samhita 5.54, it is said, Karmani nirdahati kintu sa bhakti bhajam. For those engaged in devotional service, bhakti bhajana, the results of past deeds are indemnified, meaning the results, the karmic reactions are nullified. According to this, Bharata Maharaj could not have been punished for his past misdeeds. The conclusion must be that Maharaj Bharata purposefully became over-addicted to the deer and neglected his spiritual advancements. Purposefully. He wanted to. He needed to. To immediately rectify his mistake, for a short time he was awarded the body of a deer. This was just to increase his desire for mature devotional service. Although Bharata Maharaj was awarded the body of an animal, he did not forget what had previously happened due to his purposeful mistake. He was very anxious to get out of his dear body, and this indicates that his affection for devotional service was intensified, so much so that he was quickly to attain perfection in a Brahmana body in the next life. It is with this conviction that we declare in our Back to Godhead magazine that devotees like the Goswamis living in Vrindavana, who purposefully commit some sinful activity, are born in the bodies of dogs, monkeys, and tortoises in that holy land. Thus, they take on these lower life forms for the short while, and after they give up those animal bodies, they are again promoted to the spiritual world. Such punishment is only for a short period, and it is not due to past karma. It may appear to be due to past karma. Yes, it may appear to be due to past karma, but it is offered to rectify the devotee. It is offered to rectify the devotee and bring him to pure devotional service. Let's read the translation together. Sukadeva Goswami continued. My dear king, in this way, Bharata Maharaj was overwhelmed by an uncontrollable desire, which was manifest in the form of the deer. Due to the fruitive results of his past deeds, he fell down from mystic yoga, austerity and worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If it were not due to his past fruitive activity, how could he have been attracted to the deer? After giving up the association of his own son and family, considering them stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual life. How could he show such uncontrollable affection for a deer? This was definitively due to his past karma. The king was so engrossed in petting and maintaining the deer that he fell down from his spiritual activities. In due course of time, insurmountable death, which is compared to a venomous snake that enters the hole created by a mouse, situated itself before him. Om Adhyana Timirandasya Chakshuram Mritam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Svarayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svampadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaisnavascha Shri Rukam Sagrajatam Sarana Dharmatam Vitam Tam Sarjam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Banda Chagapati Gopesha Kapika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoshtate Tapta Kancha Gorangi Radha Vindiveshwari Vishadanu Sute Devi Pranamam Hari Priye Panchakalpadrupesa Kripasinove Vacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, this is the most amazing chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam. I mean, King Rishabhadev was already extremely amazing, and the whole philosophy of our Sampradaya is encapsulated in King Rishabhadev's teachings, but also in King Mahabharata's teachings, I find. It is it is like a time capsule in the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, and everything is said right there. So just imagine Maharaj Bharata. He is the topmost devotee. His father chose him to become ruler of the earth. And he didn't become Xi Jinping, ruler of China, or Putin become ruler of Russia, or Trump to be inaugurated as the president of the United States. He became ruler of the entire earth. And just imagine, the earth was renamed after him. I mean, before, the earth was called Rajanabhavarsha. Rajanabhavarsha because it was King Nirva who ruled the earth. But after King Bharata became the ruler of the earth, it was called Bharatavarsha. And the earth is still called Bharatavarsha today. If you go to India, it's called Bharatavarsha. And so you imagine this unbelievable personality, you know, in a mundane way. It would be said that the United States of America is called Trumpland. Or China is recalled and called Xi Jinping land. But the whole earth is now called Bharatavarsha. This is how great this king was. Can you imagine? I mean, this is for us, this is so incredible. And he perfectly ruled the whole world and the citizens. He also offered Agnihotra. He offered Samayagna. That is some drink that is offered, the soma. And but doing so, he always thought of Krishna, you know, because all the limbs are parts of Krishna. For instance, the arm, Prabhu Sergei, Bhakta Sergei, the arm of the body of the Lord is who? Is Indra. And the eye is the sun. And the other eye is the moon. So the whole body is part of Krishna. So you offer something to Indra, you offer it to the arm. You offer something to the eye, and you offer something to the sun, you offer it to the sun god, but the eye of Krishna. So you offer it to Krishna. So you offer it to the whole body of Krishna. That was the consciousness of Bharat Maharaj. He offered, yes, he did these karma kanda offerings that usually karmis would do to get benefits. But he was always thinking of Krishna as offering it to the whole Krishna, you know, to the whole body of Krishna. And that is how perfect he was in these days. By the way, I want to introduce the demigods are also represented in the cow. You know that?
Yes.
You know that? Who knows it?
Demigods.
Yes. Or in the cow. So, who is in the buttocks of the cow? You know, behind, where the cow dung comes out.
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi, yes. That is why we touch the buttocks of the cow, and then the tail of the cow is put on our head, so that we are blessed by Lakshmi. And Lakshmi, the cow dung that is coming out, is actually a great wealth, because it gives the best nutrition for the garden. The best minerals and the best vitamins are grown then in the vegetables if we use the cow dung. And that is why our vegetables are null and zero, because it's done with gas from the earth. Sorry?
Pig stool.
Or pig stool. Animal from other animal. So it's not the same, of course. And we have empty vegetables that we cook with because there is no cow dung. That was the basis of these vegetables. It's very simple to understand. Very, very easy. So Maharaj Bharata was so perfect. He did all these things. He acted for Krishna, and he was completely uncontaminated. So the yogis, they meditate on what do they meditate, the yogis? There is threefold manifestation of the Lord.
Paramatma?
Paramatma. Yes, the yogis meditate on the Paramatma, the super soul in the heart. The Gyanis, they meditate on the Gyanis. They meditate on, yes, the absolute truth or the impersonal Brahman. Huh? And the devotees? The devotees worship Vasudeva, that's right. The supreme personality of Godhead. So Maharaj Bharata was completely worshipping Vasudeva with all his deeds, even serving the citizens of the whole world. And then you imagine Maharaj Bharata, he retires from all that. You know? He gives it all up. Just how difficult it is for me to completely give up worldly life and just to commit myself to Krishna consciousness. Just to give up a little bit, you know, this little bit that I still have. I have such little things left, but still, how difficult it is to give that up, you know? But he gave up the whole world, you know? Everything, he ruled the world. He was the most important personality on earth. In our days, you could imagine, like, wherever he goes, there is like helicopters and lots of cars for security purposes, and then there is the media and the flashes of the cameras and interviews. Everybody wants a signature, everybody wants a picture with him, everybody wants... He gives it all up. He gives it all up. And he goes to Pulakasham, where he, at the Gandhaka river, wants to find the Shalagram Shila. And he worships that Shila, offering flowers, water, root and twigs. He becomes completely satisfied in this devotional service. And it is said, as long as we have a material attachment, we will not be satisfied. Huh? So he just shows us, you know, how it is done, how to become completely happy. So situated in his devotional service, he's absolutely perfect. He's the perfect devotee. As he was the perfect king before. As he was the perfect son before he was the king. And doing this, his love for Vasudeva increased. Day by day. It always grew and grew and grew. And naturally it is said that his attachment for regulative services and duties, he lost more and more this attachment to these regulative services and duties. So his hair stood on end. And he had ecstatic body symptoms. We know some symptoms. Who knows one symptom only? What is it? Crying, yes. Some other symptom? Perspiring, yes. Rolling on the ground. Even belching. So very special symptoms. He had tears. His eyes were filled with tears. He could not see. So he was completely ecstatic in love for Krishna. Now you imagine, you picture Maharaj Bharata in this perfect stage of ecstatic love for Krishna. I would say very similar to how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed his ecstatic situation. And then he basically falls to a deer. You know, he saves the deer out of compassion. He saves that deer, and he becomes completely attached to that deer. And he becomes completely crazy also. He speaks of that deer as this is like, almost like the love of his life, you know. He forgets completely his devotional service. He gets into a deep fever. And he says, I'm inflamed like there was a forest fire in me, such a big fever. And this was the verse of yesterday. He saw how the moon was splashing some water into his face to cool his fever. So, isn't that amazing that we have such a situation with such a wonderful devotee who was completely perfect in any sense, and he falls into deep love of an animal, and then he actually becomes in the next birth this animal. He loves the animal so much, and when he dies, he actually goes into the womb of a deer and becomes a deer. But because he's such an elevated soul, he doesn't forget who he was before. And he remembers Krishna, and he remembers the devotional service. And so it is said a devotee is never lost, isn't it? And devotional service is never lost. Whatever devotional service we do, it is on our bank account, let's put it this way, for the next life. It is never lost. That's also Jesus said, collect wealth in the heavens and not on this earth. So this is the same principle, we should, this devotional service, however it is, whatever it is, and if it is cleaning the temple, if it is serving the deities, if it is preaching outside, if it is distributing spiritual knowledge, whatever the devotional service is, it is never lost, it is never forgotten, and we will remember it. But actually, Maharaj Bharat, he was actually coming back as a deer. So how is it possible that a devotee is having to come back as a deer? And it is described here that this is a short-term remedy. It is a given chance. It is not a punishment. It is not a bad karmic reaction. It is actually assisting the devotee in becoming perfect in his devotional service. And Prabhupada compares it to the Goswamis or the Goswami-like devotees who are in Vrindavan and commit purposeful sins, who then become reincarnated in dogs and cats or even monkeys, tortoises in Vrindavan. For a short term only, so they can increase their desire for devotional service and become completely perfect in their next life, as they are back again elevated in the level of spiritual life. Is this clear? Have I been clear about it? Yes. So, since you know that I am exploring a little bit homeopathic medicine, it has triggered some similarities. and I want to go into it. Because homeopathic medicine can be helping with cows, with dogs, with the agriculture. We can even treat crops with homeopathy. If the crop has a disease, we can use homeopathy. We don't need to put crop is like wheat or garlic or whatever, vegetables. So we can use homeopathic medicine for all life forms. And as I had this realization with my last lecture, in this lecture healing became more apparent. This realization with this example of Bharata Maharaj having a short treatment of being reincarnated in a deer body before being allowed to go on the complete devotional platform as a medicine, and that is basically what it is, isn't it? When the devotee is given a medicine, he goes into the deer, and his desire to become devotional service performing increases that much that he then goes back onto the spiritual platform and is completely perfect. So homeopathy works on a very simple quantum mechanic principle. And it is fascinating. It is similars, it's called similars. So you treat somebody with a medicine that produces the symptoms in a healthy person. Let's say I give a healthy person a certain medicine, and he gets all blisters all over. The whole body becomes full of blisters. Because I gave this healthy person this medicine. So if I give this medicine to a person who has the blisters go away. This is the homeopathic principle that Hanuman has observed. And he also observed that if he dilutes it with water more and more and more and more, it becomes even more potent. To the point where at the end medicine there is not even one single molecule left in this homeopathic medicine. It is even more potent than if he gave the raw. It is much, much more potent. So if only the information, the quantum mechanic information of the information field, and that is what Max Planck said, there is an information field, there is a force, there is a mind behind matter. Matter as such does not exist. I mean, Max Planck said that. He came to this conclusion. So we can use homeopathy to cure autism in children. We can do ADHD. Instead of giving Ritalin, Ritalin is just suppressing the symptom. And then it gets worse, and you have to give more Ritalin. If you do homeopathy, you can actually cure the autism. And in 1831, they have treated epidemics like cholera. In 1813, they have treated the typhus epidemic. You can do large epidemics with homeopathy. There is big hope in homeopathy. And I suggest to all devotees listening to really go to Children's Health Defense and watch that movie that has been produced there, Reviving Homeopathy. It is really mind-boggling and eye-opening. Basically what homeopathy does, it is killing the suffering by contra-indicating the waves. Everything is waves, everything is energy. So let's say if you put a sound into the air from one side of the room, and from the other side of the room, you put the exact opposite sound. In the middle of the room, you don't hear anything, because it cancels each other out. Similarly, homeopathy is working on the wave, on the energy level. Why do I tell all this? Why is it important to me? Why do I think it is a realization I had? And why is homeopathy for me an example of how devotional service works?
Oh, good question.
If we perform devotional service, we start displaying the symptoms and we counteract the influence of Maya. We cancel out the waves of Maya. We actually catapult ourselves into the spiritual realm. By Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, giving us the medicine of devotional service, it is actually helping us to go back to Godhead. It seems very strange to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and chant it 108 times, and then chant this at least 16 rounds 108 times, and takes 2.5 hours. It seems so weird. It makes completely no sense, but it is a symptom of spiritual life. Remember this Muslim who was in the Chaitanya Lila, who came to Chaitanya and said, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Why do I have to say Hare Krishna all the time? I always have to say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Can you stop me saying Hare Krishna? I'm always saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Do you remember this story? No? So the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is written that he transformed an opponent to the Hare Krishna movement, to the Chaitanya to Mahaprabhu's movement, by letting him only the Maha Mantra come out of his mouth. He couldn't say anything without first saying the Maha Mantra. And he was so disturbed by having to do this that he went to Mahaprabhu and said, what did you do to me? I cannot speak normally anymore. I always have to say the Maha Mantra first. So that is a symptom that we always think of Krishna, that we always chant the name of the Lord, that we always glorify Him, that we always do everything to His glory. That is the symptom of the spiritual world. So by doing this here in this material world, we actually cure ourselves of this material situation. I find it's fascinating. For me, it's really helpful. It is one more way of understanding how Krishna consciousness worked for me, at least. So Bharata Maharaj was successful. He had been given this medicine, and then he came out of the deer as a deer, and he remembered that he was a Vaishnava, and he became a devotee again, and then he went back to Godhead. So let's hope that we also will remember who we really are, that we really are part and parcel of Krishna, that we don't belong in this material world, that this material world is basically also a medicine. In a way, it is also a medicine, and we have been given this medicine to go back to the spiritual world. I may close here. Is there any questions? Hare Krishna? Yeah. can ask your question first. It takes so much time.
She has an assumption that maybe Bharata Maharaj had like perverted a perception of what it means to take care, and maybe he like it was excessive care for that deer, and she thinks maybe Krishna put him Bharata into a body of a deer, so he could experience by himself that actually a deer doesn't need that much care. and
So what is the question?
it's not a question. She
It's
is.
a comment.
It is her assumption.
Okay.
She just wanted to share a little bit her thoughts.
If I put this back into the microphone, your assumption, Albina Mataji, is that Bhakti Albina is that Bharata Maharaj was put into the body of a deer, so he would realize that it doesn't take so much to take care of the deer, that it is not so important, basically. Well, the way I don't want to contradict this, it is certainly correct, absolutely. It's from my perspective also. This, I'm not an expert, but I would say that Bharat Maharaj, he was completely absorbed in devotional service, and then the deer, the love to this deer took him away from the devotional service. So not only he had to realize that it doesn't take so much to take care of the deer, but it actually completely deflected him from performing devotional service. He forgot about his devotional service, actually. He became mad thinking about the deer. He was completely absorbed in this, what happens to the deer? A lion is eating the deer, and he was completely anxious and lost his mind in love of this deer. So he did not only take too much care of the deer, but he also forgot to serve Krishna, to serve the Lord. That's a little bit more. That's a little bit more, I think.
Thank you for your lecture. When I was reading the verse, it's of course stated how Shukadeva Goswami is saying that due to the fruitive results of his past deeds, he fell down from mystic yoga, austerity and worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If it were not due to his past fruitive activity, how could he have behaved and have been attracted to the deer after giving up the association of his son, family, and so on? And Prabhupada then actually contradicts Shukadeva Goswami in that sense. Like he says, in the purport that the past fruitive activities were actually not the cause of it, because if you're performing devotional service, then all karma will be eradicated, and he says, it's purposefully that he fell down in that sense. So I don't really know how to take it, like why Srila Prabhupada comes to this conclusion. If there's something maybe explained after in verse later that indicates that, or why is it like different that Prabhupada sees the verse?
I think because it is, I have the intuition that it is both. It is understandably both. Chitta Veda Veda Tattva. It is as much that because of his karmic reaction, he got the body of a deer, as also that he purposefully got the body of a deer as a medicine to really increase his devotional service even more. And purposefully became the body of the deer. As the Goswamis purposely commit some offenses, so they would get the body of a monkey and then increase their devotional desire for devotional service, and then become completely established on the platform. That's all I can add to that. It's a contradiction, yes, but it can be both true also. Is there any more questions? Then we will close here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the devotees. All glories to the devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Antikoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Gaura Premanandi.
His Grace Jaya Prabhu Ki.
Hare Krishna.
She's asking, is it possible to make an appointment with you? And about the homeopathy.
Aha.
Yes.
You could, I mean,
She's
the little, of course, but I'm not a homeopath. I have.
You studied a little bit?
No, but if you need homeopathy, I have a friend who is really good in homeopathy.
Good doctor, homeopathy.
I wanted to ask her to come here as a service and offer her service
to the
for the
devotees
devotees.
who have also some health issues also.
Yes.
Yeah. We do also in the Budapest temple. We invite oftentimes one and the same Ayurvedic doctor. He is really great. He travels sometimes to different European countries, and the temple paid for full-time devotees, and we all went to him like for free. The temple paid. Really good. He is really good Ayurvedic doctor.
Yes,
so if you have something here, it's nice. Yes, to take.
I will ask Rama to
okay.
arrange for something because I think it is miraculous.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yes.
Yeah.
We will arrange.
Yes, thank you so much. Because this is our instrument in which we serve Krishna, and
Yes.
somehow we have to take care of it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Hare Krishna. Krishna